Welcome to Managing Expectations to Improve Match Longevity. The objectives of this webinar are to explore what drives people away from mentoring, understand how our human expectations are sometimes our biggest obstacles in successful relationships, how to cultivate more sensitivity and understanding with other people, learn new tools and how to best inform, educate, and inspire other people. Here are some facts about longer-lasting mentoring relationships. Having consistent contact is helpful. Participants feel a sense of closeness or connection. Shared interests may facilitate the development of a closer relationship. Mentors who engage in more social activity report closer relationships. Youth in relationships with adults who use a prescriptive approach are less satisfied with the relationship as opposed to those in matches with adults who take a youth-oriented approach. When connections are established early on, relationships can do better. Having sufficient pre-match training, 2 hours or less of training equals lower levels of mentor satisfaction. A common misconception is the perception that there is a lack of mentee motivation. Inadequate agency support, when staff misses opportunities to shore up relationships. Mentors who are deficient in relationship skills will take longer to establish successful matches. And finally, having unfulfilled expectations or misconceptions or preconceived notions. How to turn your skills into tools. It all starts with a conversation. Then learn how to reframe and rename what someone is talking about. Growth and learning can be a parallel process. Notice what you are holding on to. This is what unfulfilled expectations looks like. It's important to correct misconceptions at the beginning. What are you saying in your outreach? Can you identify those people whose expectations are too lofty or unrealistic for mentoring? Delivering a training that helps lower expectations while keeping them interested and excited to be involved in something that's worthwhile. Understand that every interaction can be a good time to correct misconceptions, and every interaction with a mentor holds an opportunity to reframe challenges into opportunities. Here's an exercise that is useful to both mentors and mentees. Fold a piece of paper in half lengthwise so you have 2 columns. Ask participants to use the left side of the page to document their answers to the following questions. Imagine today you are a new mentor and this is the day you're meeting your mentee for the very first time. Tell me what you're feeling on your way to that meeting. How do you feel or react once you actually meet your mentee? What do you imagine your mentee will look like? What do you think is going to happen on your first meeting or outing? Was there anything about your answers that surprised you? Anything about the hopes or desires or wishes for the match that you weren't expecting? Ask participants to use the right side of the page and re-answer the questions, imagining they are mentees. Debrief with participants. Was there anything that stood out for them when they looked at the relationship from the mentee's point of view? What were the differences, similarities between the 2 points of view? For instance, many people will say that both the mentor and the mentee is anxious before they have their first meeting or nervous before they have their first meeting. Why do you think it's important for mentors to spend time doing an exercise like this? Whether they like it or not, all mentors and mentees have definite ideas, hopes, fears, and wishes for their mentoring relationship. It is important to realize that there is another person on the other side of the match with his or her own ideas, hopes, fears, and wishes. It is good to remind volunteers that if at any time during the match they feel disappointed or discouraged with the relationship, it is not necessarily because there is something wrong with them or the mentee. Rather, they may feel disappointed because their expectation of what the relationship would be like did not come true. This is when relationship coaching can be very helpful for volunteers. Asking mentors to evaluate themselves is a good way to explore how they really feel about the match. What questions do you think would stimulate volunteer self-reflection? Thank you for taking time to consider the questions and ideas we have posed here. Mentoring is a parallel process. The better we are as supervisors and match coaches at understanding what motivates us, the better we will be at helping our mentors recognize and manage their expectations for mentoring. Please click through on the link to take a brief survey. Thank you.